Apple just announced the new Mac Studio desktop computer with your choice of M1 Max or the new M1 Ultra chip. Hey, what's up creators? My name is Trevor Current and we've got some exciting news from Apple. On March 8th, Apple held their online event with the tagline Peak Performance. There were a lot of rumors floating around about what would be announced, and everyone seemed to agree on a few things, including a new iPhone SE, a new iPad, and some kind of new computer. Well, for the most part, they were right. First up were the iPhones. iPhone 13 Pro is now available in a new color called Alpine Green, and the iPhone 13 is available in a new darker green color. But other than that, the specs are all the same. The entry-level iPhone SE also got an update. It now has the A15 Bionic chip from the higher-end phones. It's got 5G cellular and a new 12-megapixel camera. Even though the iPhone SE is considered the entry-level phone, with its new A15 chip and the latest iOS 15 software, it really unlocks a lot of features that you would only find in the higher-end phone. The iPad Air got a huge update with the addition of the same M1 chip found in the iPad Pro. This gives the iPad Air a 60% increase in performance over the previous generation. The front camera was also updated to the 12-megapixel ultra-wide, which now allows support for center stage. The USB-C port has been enhanced to increase transfer speeds up to 2 times faster. The iPad Air is available in a Wi-Fi only model or a Wi-Fi with 5G cellular model. I'm actually kind of excited about the iPad Air. With its 12-megapixel f1.8 back camera, video recording up to 4K at 60 frames per second, and the Magic Keyboard and Apple Pencil compatibility, it really gives users the tools to create in the studio or on the go. I have more thoughts on the iPad Air for creators, but I'll save those for another video. Now for the biggest announcement of the event, the new Mac Studio desktop computer. This isn't a redesign of an existing product, this is something completely new. Mac Studio has the same footprint as the Mac Mini at 7.7 inches square, but it's more than double in height at 3.7 inches. At the heart of Mac Studio is the M1 Max chip or the brand new M1 Ultra. The M1 Max was introduced in the 16-inch MacBook Pro, which is powerful enough to take on any creative project you have. The M1 Ultra is basically 2 M1X chips bonded together for double the power and double the performance. M1 Ultra uses a die-to-die interconnect technology called UltraFusion that connects 2 M1 Max chips together for 2.5 terabytes per second of interprocessor bandwidth. This is more than 4 times the bandwidth of the leading multi-chip interconnect technology. This allows the M1 Ultra to perform as a single chip and doesn't require modification of software to perform at its maximum. Mac Studio with M1 Ultra chip can be configured to 20-core CPUs, 64-core GPUs, 32-core neural engine, 128 gigabytes of unified memory, and 8 terabytes of SSD storage, making it more powerful than the fastest Mac Pro available today. It'll handle pretty much anything you can throw at it, including 18 streams of 8K ProRes 422 video. Mac Studio with M1 Max can be configured to 10-core CPUs, 32-core GPU, 16-core neural engine, 64 gigabytes of unified memory, and 8 terabytes of SSD storage, making it more powerful than the top-of-the-line 27-inch iMac. Mac Studio is more than twice as tall as the Mac Mini, but the majority of that space is allocated to the thermal cooling system. This design helps to keep the chip cooler to maintain higher performance for longer periods of time, but produces little to no noise. This is really important when recording because you don't want the hum of fans creating noise that will need to be removed later in post-production. While the M1 Mac is a powerful computer, one of the biggest complaints is about expandability with the limited number of connection ports. It has 2 Thunderbolt 3 USB 4 ports, 2 USB-A ports, an HDMI port, gigabit Ethernet port, and a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. Mac Studio has 4 Thunderbolt 4 ports, 10 gigabit Ethernet port, 2 USB-A ports, HDMI port, and a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack on the back side. On the front of Mac Studio with the M1 Max are 2 USB-C ports and an SD-XC card slot. On the front of the Mac Studio with M1 Ultra, there are 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports and 1 SD-XC card slot. Mac Studio will support up to 4 Pro Display XDRs, that's 6K resolution, and 1 4K display over HDMI. The starting price for Mac Studio with the M1 Max chip is $2,000, and the Mac Studio with M1 Ultra is $4,000. The last announcement was the Mac Studio display. This is a 27-inch display in a beautiful aluminum case, very sleek, very streamlined. It's got 14.7 million pixels, which is a 5K Retina display. And basically, this is the same screen from the 27-inch iMac. As an option, you can get the nano texture on the screen, which helps to scatter light and cut down on glare. This is really useful if you're working in a bright room, a bright environment, or if you're near a window. It'll help to cut down on those reflections. Inside the display is an A13 chip that powers the 12 megapixel ultra-wide camera. That's the same camera from the iPad. And it also supports center stage for video calls. There's a 3-mic array and 6-speaker sound system that supports their spatial audio. On the back of the display are 3 USB-C ports and a Thunderbolt port that has 96 watts of power. So when you plug your MacBook into it, you can actually charge your MacBook from the monitor. The starting price for the Studio display is $1,600. Not exactly cheap. There are cheaper monitors out there, but it's significantly cheaper than the Pro Display XDR. So at the end of the presentation, they commented about how all the Mac computers have now been updated to the M1 family of chips. All but one, the Mac Pro. So they're kind of teasing it. They've got that still to come. They are working on it, so that's great. That's really good news. A lot of people were thinking that maybe the new Studio machine would replace the Mac Pro, but that doesn't appear to be the case. So my thought is that they will most likely introduce the Mac Pro at WWDC this year, which typically comes in June. So hopefully in June we'll see a new Mac Pro, which would be great. Some other observations I've made: the 27-inch iMac has been removed from the Apple Store. So that will kind of lead you to believe that maybe they are either going to be refreshing the 27-inch iMac with the M1 line of chips, obviously the M1 Max and the M1 Ultra, to really make a powerhouse of an all-in-one machine, or they're going to discontinue it. And the Mac Studio very well could be replacing that, because if you think about it, the 27-inch iMac kind of fits the same use case as what these new Mac Studio computers would. So they very well may be just replacing that right now. I am interested to see what they're going to do with the Mac Pro. If you think back to the very first Mac Pro, it was the big silver box, came out in like 2005, 2006, I think. I actually bought one and actually still have it here in the studio. It's a 2006, and that was a great machine. And in fact, it actually still runs. It's just got a really old operating system on it. But that was a great machine. I have expanded it out. I put hard drives in it. I put more RAM in it. I had boards in it for running external monitors. I mean, it really was a fantastic machine. And it was a great video editing machine back in the day. I used that for a very long time, for years, for many years. And in fact, the display that I'm looking at right now is a 2006 Cinema display that I had purchased with that Mac Pro. And this Cinema display is still doing a great job. It's the 23-inch plasma display. The color's good. There definitely are burn spots on the screen, So, it's not like it used to be brand new by any means. I mean, it's very, very old, but this is still a great monitor. So down the road, should I replace the monitor, with something more updated, perhaps this new one, I'll take this one, put the stand back on it, set it down and use it as a second monitor because it still works. I just can't bring myself to getting rid of it. But the Mac Pro was always thought of as a machine with expandability. It had the modularity that you could add RAM, that you could add hard drives, that you could, remove the CD drive, you could put in a DVD drive back then. You could add expansion boards. And then they migrated to the trash can style, which was an all-in-one, much like the Mac Studio, where it had ports for adding peripherals, but that really didn't fly well with most creators. It just did not give them the expansion that they wanted, the flexibility that they wanted, and it was a very expensive machine. So the most recent version of the Mac Pro that's available today is expandable. You can put cards in it, you can build it, which was a great machine. With the design of the M1 chipset, I'm not sure how modular it will be. I believe that the Thunderbolt drivers and the USB drives and everything like that are all integrated. So I'm not sure how they're going to be able to add in like expansion boards, for example. So I'm wondering if we will see a Mac Studio-like box, perhaps with 2 M1 Ultra chips, so basically 4 M1 Maxes, or whether it will truly be a modular design that is expandable. I mean, the RAM won't be expandable. Perhaps you can put some internal SSD drives, like you can with the Mac Studio. Maybe you can build those out. Maybe there'll be ports to add more. That would be great. As far as expansion cards go, I'll have to see what the technology is and what they're going to do with that. But it's very exciting. As a creator, I'm excited to see where this is going. I am excited to upgrade my MacBook Pro. While this has been a great machine, it is getting a little old, and it's time to get something new. So I will be ordering a new Mac Studio. I will most likely just get the M1 Max. I think the M1 Ultra is fantastic for those that need just the utmost in performance and horsepower. For my needs, that's kind of overkill. A lot of the work I do is web work, but obviously we're doing video and audio production as well, and that will certainly handle all of my needs. If down the road I need more, then you know what? I can always go and purchase a $4,000 Mac Studio with the M1 Ultra chip. But to wrap this up, as creators, the new Mac Studio has the power and the expandability that we need to get pretty much any job done that we want. And as creators, you know how important your online presence is. Whether you're producing videos for social, sharing your expertise in a podcast, or creating amazing digital art, your website should be the hub that links to all your online profile. If you don't have a website, or if you're looking for a website upgrade, I'd like to introduce you to my company, Launch Engine. Launch Engine is the fast, affordable way to launch your new business website. In just 10 business days, we'll build you a beautiful, professionally designed, mobile-friendly website that will help grow your creative business. Use it to capture leads, manage your podcast, sell memberships and courses, build a community, or simply blog about your passion. Whatever your needs are, we can customize your website with tools to help you grow your business and make more money. Don't spend weeks or months learning DIY website software. Launch Engine will take care of all the technical work. We'll build, host, maintain, and protect your site so you can focus on creating the content your audience loves. Visit launchengine.net/TC to learn more and use discount code TC50 at checkout to get $50 off the setup fee. I want to thank you for spending your time with me. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share it with your friends, and click that subscribe button. I'm just getting started with this channel and would love your support. That's it for now. Hope you have a great day. We'll see you on the next one.